Hello, welcome to my Not Ready for Prime Time crafting series. Here we will learn to create useful and fun items for your home or home office using a mix of Silhouette and Cricut machines. Please note, perfection does not live here. Mistakes and disaster in crafting is commonplace with me, but I use it as a tool to refine my skills. Since St. Patrick's Day is right around the corner, I found a really cute way to bring some Irish cheer into Shea Tanya. For those unfamiliar with Catholic sainthood, St. Patrick was a 5th century missionary and later bishop of the church. He worked to convert Picts and Anglo-Saxons to Christianity and is also credited with driving out snakes from Ireland, although it is unclear if that meant the reptilian or human variety. Today, St. Patrick is one of the patron saints of Ireland. Here in America, we celebrate with parades and beer, but mostly beer. So today, I'm going to be working with printable heat transferable vinyl. Vinyl was purchased through Expressions Vinyl, where they sell the printable heat transferable vinyl per sheet, and more importantly, they give you instructions. So I'm kind of excited about that. So for today's project, what you're going to need is a cutting machine. I have the Silhouette Cameo 4, a light tack mat, cutting mat, a printable heat transferable vinyl, a Cricut Easy Press 2, and the heat cushion, a brayer tool, a weeding tool, scissors, measuring tape, and don't forget a glass or two of Guinness. So the first thing we want to do is measure the working space we have on these lovely dish towels that I purchased from Michael's a few weeks ago. My thoughts are to use the heat transferable vinyl to print and transfer designs onto both of these dish towels. They have slightly different textured material. This one has like bands that I really want to utilize and put appropriate phrases here and here. And on this one, I love this green gingham. I just really love it. And I found a wonderfully cute pot of gold image that I want to transfer onto here that I think will work well with the gingham. All of these images were found in the Silhouette Studio store, and they were purchased for personal use only. All right, let's get started. The first thing we need to do is measure our working space. All right. Okay, we have about a little over 6 inches here, and I definitely don't want to run the image edge to edge. So I am going to make this 5 inches wide. And it's hard to see, but there are bands, flat bands here, and I want the wording to go on that banding. And the banding height is about 1 inch. Yes, let me see here. Yes, 1 inch. So this is 1 inch high by 5 inches wide. I'm sure this is probably very similar in size. Yes. So my thoughts would be, again, 5 inches looks great. Oh, and then do 5 inches high. So this will be 5 inches by 5 inches, 5 inches by 1 inch. That seems pretty fun. That seems like a plan. Okay, now that we got our workspace defined, we need to jump into Silhouette Design Studio.
All right, here we are in Silhouette Studio in their design space. Displayed here are the images, the 3 of them, that I selected to print and cut with our printable heat transfer vinyl. These images were found in the Silhouette store, and I purchased them for personal use. Now, following directions here, we are not mirroring these images. We are keeping them as is. For most heat transfer vinyl projects, you will be required to mirror your images. And how to do that in Silhouette is quite simple. All you need to do is highlight the image you want to mirror, click on Object in the drop-down box, click on Mirror, and flip horizontally. And now your image is mirrored. Since we don't want to do that, I'm going to reset because our directions say not to. In addition, if you forget to do that, and when you go to hit Cut in the Silhouette software, you've selected a heat transferable material, it's going to ask you, remind you one more time before it sends the material into the machine to be cut, do you need to mirror the image or leave it as is? So there's a little safety net built into the software to help prevent you from not mirroring an image when you need to. So I like that little feature with Silhouette. We need to add registration marks to our printable vinyl. These registration marks are there to guide the cutting machine in accurately following the outline of your image that you want to cut. In order to do that appropriately, you need to turn on registration marks. And this is where many Silhouette Cameo 4 users run into a very frustrating problem. What I can share with you is what I have found over the months of being frustrated and trying to figure out why all my print and cuts were failing registration. And I found 3 things that if I do consistently, it reduces the number of registration failures. And they're very simple things. The first thing to do is when you turn on your registration marks, you go over to thickness and you take this little slider and you're going to adjust the thickness line as far as you can. And what that is doing is the thought behind this is that it will thicken the registration marks that you see here and this square so that it will be easier for the optical reader to read it and not reject your cut. The second thing you need to do is once you have your print and cut printed out and loaded, ready to load into the machine, place it on a light tack mat from Silhouette. Don't use their standard mat, don't use their strong grip mat, just use their light tack mat. The third thing I can tell you that works is to brightly light the Cameo area. So what that means is you need to add additional light to the cutting cartridge. And that can look different. It could be, you can use the flashlight in your smartphone. You can pull over an external light source and turn it on next to your Cameo machine, just so that there's additional light washing into the optical reader. And if you do these 3 things, what I've found is that it greatly reduces the number of times your print and cut fails registration. And in turn, it greatly reduces the number of times that I want to throw the machine out the window. So it's a win-win situation if you follow these 3 things. In my experience, it has reduced the number of times it rejected my print and cut. Also, I do want to note I've already sized these images. Oops, let me put that one back. Do that. Oh, you don't want to undo. Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, I've sized these images based upon our measurements, and this is at 5 inches and roughly an inch. This is already at 5 by 5. It's 5.364. I'm kind of happy with that. So these images are sized where I want them. I did everything I can to make the registration marks a little bit more pronounced so that the optical reader refined them. I'm doing everything I can to make this registration a success. At this point, we need to print our images, and it's very simple. All you need to do is go into File, Print, and this is what I want to show you. This is the actual page it will print, and it includes the registration marks that are crucial for the machine to know where to cut. And all you need to do is hit print. Remember, you need to use an inkjet printer as per the instructions. And then once it's printed, we then can go to the send panel, is to select your material, your action, which is cut, and the type of blade you're using. And down here is kind of important. In this area, you're selecting your blade depth, the force of the blade as it moves through the material, and the speed of the blade as it moves through the material. You have the ability to manipulate all three of these variables to get the most precise cut. So I have selected all my variables here, and I'm happy with them. And then once this is set, we're loading our printable vinyl into the machine, and we're going to hit send.
Okay, here is our printed vinyl, and it's all ready to go into the Cameo 4. The one thing I want to do is just use my brayer tool really quickly and make sure the paper is laying flat on the cutting mat. Here we go. This image has not been mirrored as per directions, and I placed it on that light tack mat as we discussed, and the registration marks look good, and everything seems to be in order here. So let's see what the directions say. So we used an inkjet printer to print this image with our registration marks. We did not mirror the image. We want to set our heat press to 374 degrees or 190 degrees Celsius for 12 seconds. And we're going to use strong pressure or high pressure to press this down. And we are going to do a cool peel when we are done. Okay, so we've been following the directions so far. Let me get this out of the way. Let me load this onto the silhouettes. The ratchet blade is already installed at the correct blade depth. Okay. Unload this. Here is our images. They've been cut out. So let me remove it from here. You always want to remove the mat from the material, not the other way around. Here are the completed designs ironed on to the dish towels. I'm really happy for my first time playing around with printable heat transfer vinyl. It came out very well. So these are going to go into my kitchen, and I will have a cute little design for St. Patrick's Day. And I am wishing all my followers a very happy St. Patrick's Day. Be safe, be well, drink Guinness.